Equations with two variables. We've had equations that look like this, and there would be only one variable. Well, now we're going to do equations with two variables that are going to look something like maybe this. An equation with two variables has two quantities that change in relationship with the other. Solutions are going to be written as ordered pairs. And remember that ordered pairs is another word or another phrase for point. So our answers are going to look like 5, 2, or 6, 3. And remember that the first one is x, the second one is y. Determine whether 3/16 is a solution to y equals 5x plus 1. Solution means an answer that makes it true. So remember that an ordered pair goes x and y. You need to take those numbers and put them into the correct variables. Y is 16 equals 5 times x, and x is 3 plus 1. Follow the correct order of operations. 5 times 3 is 15. And we see that 16 equals 16. This is a true statement. So therefore, 3/16 is a solution to the equation y equals 5x plus 1. There are two variables in these equations, and they have different names. For example, y equals 5x plus 1, the independent variable is going to be x. And what they mean by independent variable is that the x doesn't depend on anything. It's free. A dependent variable, on the other hand, depends on the independent variable. So in this case, y depends on x. And you're probably wondering, why is this important? What is really happening here? Well, a good example of where this is an issue is when you think of working a job. Which comes first when you have a job, the work or the pay? Well, the work has to come first, so the number of hours you work comes first. And then you can get paid. The number of hours you work is the independent variable. The amount of money you get paid is the dependent variable. First you work your hours, then you get paid depending on the number of hours you work. That's the difference between the independent variable and dependent variable. Jameer gets paid $9 per hour. The equation y equals 9x represents Jameer's pay y after x hours. Identify the independent and dependent variables. First, his hours of work need to happen. That means that the x is the independent variable. His pay in y dollars depends on the number of hours he works. His pay is the dependent variable. The y is the dependent variable. What is Jameer's pay after 40 hours? Now in the problem it says x hours, 40 hours. 40 goes into the x. Now we rewrite the equation. Y equals 9 times x. We said that the x is the hours. We change that x to 40. Pay here in the y equals 9 times 40. His pay is 9 times 40, or $360. The y is $360. You work for Columbia Heights Rentals. Your boss wants you to make a graph for renting a popcorn maker. It costs $25 to rent plus $8 per hour. Write an equation and graph the total cost of renting the popcorn machine. So we need two variables. Let's have y and x. Now the first thing is how long they rent it. That's going to tell us how much it costs. So the x is our independent variable, and that's going to be the number of hours. After you know the number of hours, we can figure out the total cost. And in this case, that makes the y the dependent variable, and that's going to be the cost. So the total cost is y equals, and it says that it costs $25 to rent plus $8 per hour. So 1 hour would be $8, 2 hours would be 16, 3 hours would be 24. So we need to multiply $8 times each hour. So this is our equation. Y equals $25 plus 8 times x. The problem also said to make a graph. The easiest way to make a graph is to start with a table of x and y values. If we rent the machine for 1 hour, we can put 1 in for the x. Y equals 25 plus 8 times 1. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 25 is 33. If we rent the machine for 2 hours, y equals 25 plus 8 times 2. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 25 is 41. If we rent it for 3 hours, y equals 25 plus 8 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 25 is 49. Let's do one more. Let's rent it for 4 hours. Y equals 25 plus 8 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32. 32 plus 25 is 57. So now we have a table of points, which makes it very easy to graph. So here's my axes. Remember that the horizontal axis is the x, the vertical is the y. If we look at our x values, they are 1, 2, 3, 4. So we should count by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. The origin is 0, and then we go over 1, 2, 3, 4. Our y-axis has some very large numbers, 33, 41, 49, and 57. We want to pick one nice number to count by, to skip count by. With the numbers being this large, I'm going to pick 10. So we're going to count by 10. So remember the origin is 0, and then it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now we're ready to plot our points. We've got the point 1, 33. So I go to 1 and I go up until I get to about 33 and I put a point. Now I need to graph 2, 41. I go to 2, go straight up until I hit about 41 and I put my point. Now I need to graph 3, 49, go over to 3, go straight up until I hit about 49 and I put my point. On our last one, 4, 57. So we got 4, go straight up and find where about 57 would be, put your point. So all these points in this case make a straight line. And you could put something like this up in your store and you could show customers what the price is for renting their popcorn machine.